Good morning, students. I, Sarita Goyal, your bio teacher, hope that you are all fine at the home and you are doing your work properly, punctuality, and you are going whatever we are to do. You are doing all those things which we are giving to you. Now, today I'll start my next chapter, that is control and coordination. I have completed life process in which we studied various life processes just like nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. These life processes are very much necessary for living, right, for surviving. But these processes have to be controlled, right? Have to be controlled by, otherwise these there will be no limit of life process. The growth will be not uniform. We can grow uh, undividedly, so that has to be controlled and coordinated. So that is what we are going to study in this chapter. In this chapter we are going to study about control. Control means not control of anything outside was playing or anything, but there is a control of our various organs also. That is, we can say about heart, our kidney, all these have to be controlled. Brain, who is going to control this, all these things? So very much important part, that is the brain, is going to control our body systems, that is our life process. So just like a captain, if you are talking about cricket team, there is a captain. Now this captain is going to control the activities of his players. Similarly, this brain is the captain of our body and it is going to control the functions of the working of heart, kidney, etc. So these have to control. For example, I'm going to talk about when we saw a snake, when we see a snake or tiger coming towards us, what we'll do, we start running. So our heart beat faster because we want more and more energy, right? So I'm talking about why is it necessary. So we want more and more energy, and that our heart beat faster, our pulse rate become fast. But after coming to the completing that process, that we were after heading, now our heart has to come at its normal function. So that how it will come to the normal functions, that will be controlled by our hormones, our brain. So there is a very much necessary to study about control and coordination. So now you'll come to know what do you mean by control here. Controlling means we are not controlling discipline or anything, we are controlling the working of our internal organs. Now coordination. Now this is very much necessary step. As in our daily life, we coordinate with each other. If we are not coordinate, the chances of survival will become very less. Similarly, in our body also, there is a coordination of all the organ system. If there is no coordination of all the system in our body, what happens? Nutrition, digestive system work at its own. It won't give the digested food to the body, to the mitochondria. If the mitochondria is not receiving the digested food, respiration process will not occur. If respiration process will not occur, we won't get the energy. If we won't get the energy, our heart, our lungs, our excretory organs, they won't work. Suppose our excretory system is not working, what will happen? If our excretory system is not working, then we are not able to remove waste products. So there should be control as well as coordination. This coordination is very much necessary. Without this coordinations of various systems, we cannot survive. So this life process depends upon this control and coordination. Without control and coordination, life process will not work efficiently. Clear? So that is why this control and coordination is very much necessary. Now, how this control and coordination occur, right, takes place, how it sends the message. So this message is sent in two forms. One is chemical and another one is electrical, right? These are called chemical signals and electrical signals. Now these chemical signals takes place in the form of hormones. That means hormones carry the message, right? Now these hormones carry the message to both plants and animals. These chemical signals occurs, this chemical message, and the message which is sent by chemicals, it works both in plants and animals. Whereas this electrical signals, right, this occurs only in the animals, not in the plants. These signals, of course, the speed is very fast of electrical signals that chemical signals. So when we are talking about these chemical signals and electrical signals, they both have some advantage as well as disadvantage also. Now if I am talking about these chemical signals, they are very slow, right? Now, and electrical signals are very fast. Now this is advantageous in animals. Suppose I have seen a snake coming towards me, so, or anyone, if I touch any hot vessels by chance, what will happen? If these signals will not reach to my brain or to my spinal cord fastly, I am not going to leave that vessels. As a result, I burn my hands. So these signals are advantages at that time. If and hormonal signals are disadvantage. Why? Because they are slow. If the message reach me slowly that I have touched the hot vessel, what will happen? By the time this message reaches to my spinal cord, I have already burnt my hand. So these electrical signals, it is advantageous in animals, right? And these chemical signals have disadvantage that it is slow, right? Now I'm talking about growth now. Now if the growth takes place slowly, it will be very useful, it will be uh, uniformly. Okay, now if the I'm talking about electrical signals, if they are fast, right, then we cannot control, right? If we cannot control, the growth will not be uniform, right? So this slow process, it will be advantages in animals, it precises the growth, right? But if I'm talking about plants, if this is fast, although though this process, if it is fast, it will be non-uniform, right? You know that we have talked about growth dependent and growth independent in my last chapter also. Growth dependent is also shows the movement, right? And growth independent, of course, it is locomotion. So if the growth is slowly and slowly, then it will be uniform in the case of animals, right? So this is advantageous in animals. Now sometimes we need the message to be sent fast and sometimes we need the message to be sent slowly, right? So if we want the message to be sent fast, then we use electrical signals. If the message to be transferred slowly, then it will be chemical hormones. Normally, these hormones travels in our body. They sends the message to us slowly and slowly. But at the time of emergency, we need the message to be travel fast. That it travels in the form of electrical signals. Now, as I told you, these plants also shows the movement, right? You know that the plant grow, they become bigger and bigger trees, so they also shows the movement. And if I talk about the plant shows the movement, there are two types of movement, that is tropic and nastic. Now tropic movements are directional and nastic movements are non-directional, right? uh, for nastic movement, I will take the example of mimosa pudica, that is touch me not. You have seen the touch me not, chui mui, right? That plant, if I touch that plant, it droop out, मुरझा जाना बंद हो जाए, it will close, that is it drop out in any direction, right? It always acts opposite to that where I am touching. But in directional movement, I am taking the example phototropism. Photo means light. Tropism means movement. The parts of the plant move in direction of light. Geo means earth, tropism means movement. That is the movement of parts in response to earth. That is the roots moving towards the earth. These all movements I will take later on when I am going to talk about control and coordination in plants. Hydro means water, tropism is movement. So the movement of plants, the movement of roots in search of water. That activity I will take. Chemo means chemical, tropism means movement. This also I am. Thigmotropism, that is touch. Thigmo means touch. Tropism means movement. This is not in your syllabus, but I want to give you only in, what is thigmotropism. Thigmo means touch. So if you have seen the climbers, right? Grapes, wine, angur ki bel, tore ki bel, you have seen all those things. Now they will climb with the support of some wood or wall, anything, some object it wants to climb. So how it will climb? You have seen some thread like structure that is called tendril. These tendrils touch with the object, and after touching it stick with that walls or wood, and its growth takes place towards that wall only. As it grows, it going on touching. So that gives the support to the climbers. So these are all directional movement that we are going to take in my chapter later on. Now Nastic, I told you, Mimosa pudica, this is non-directional. If you touch the leaves of the Mimosa pudica, what happens? They droop. Right? This part I will take later on. And what else you are going to study about? As I told you, electrical signals. That is of nervous system. That comes under the control of nervous system. Now this nervous system is of two types, that is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Now this central nervous system consists of two organs, that is brain and spinal cord. And the function of these two organs will take in this chapters. Now peripheral nervous system, it is just below the skin. Peripheral means just below the skin. Nerves comes under this peripheral nervous system, and the function of nerves is to carry message, neuron, which you have already studied in your 8th class, 9th class. Now again you are going to study in 10th class. Now these nerves are of three types. One is cranial, that is present in your brain. Sensory, as the name indicates, cranial, this is present in your brain. Sensory, it is present in your sense organs. What are the sense organs? Eyes, ears, nose, skin, tongue, right? And motor nerves, they carry the order from brain, spinal cord to the body for immediate actions, right? So these three types of nerves are present in our peripheral nervous system. Now this peripheral nervous system, this is of two types. One is somatic and another one is autonomous. Now in somatic you are having, this is voluntary actions controlled by voluntary actions, and this is involuntary action. Now this involuntary actions is of two types. One is sympathetic and other is parasympathetic. Now what is do you mean by sympathetic? This is the action which can body respond. Right? Suppose if you see the tiger coming towards you, you'll start running without seeing anything. Unconsciously you are going on running. For that you need energy, your heart beat faster, your pulse rate become faster. But after hiding yourself or get protected from the tiger, what happens? Now your heart has to be calm. You have to conserve the energy because you have already used more energy. Now you have to conserve. That means there should be some opposite system. So this sympathetic and parasympathetic, these both are opposite terms. They are opposites. Now this sympathetic helps in taking the actions, quick actions, right? Our body response to the quick action that called sympathetic actions, right? Now, after completing the actions, our body has to come calm. We have to conserve the energy because we have already used in this, and that system, that process is called parasympathetic. So all these you are going to study in your this so-called control and coordination chapter. This is the introduction of the chapter. I have given what all you are going to study in this chapter one by one. Now, types and organs of nervous system. Now, first I'm taking control and coordination in animals, right? As I told you, the parts of the nervous systems are, this nervous system are of two types. One is central nervous system and another one is peripheral nervous system. In central nervous systems, you are having the organs brain and spinal cord. You can see in the diagram, this is the brain and this is the spinal cord. So these both organs play the very important role in our central nervous system, right? Our whole body depends upon these two organs. They are very much important organs. Whenever we fall, whenever we get injured, we have to protect our these parts. If the cells of the brain becomes dead, they won't be replaced. If the balance of the spinal cord get ruptured, then where our body will not be able to get balanced structure, right? Now I am talking about peripheral nervous system. It consists of cranial nerves arising from the brain, spinal nerves, that is sensory nerves, and motor nerves that are arising from your spinal cord, as well as sensory organs. Now there are three types. One is cranial, that arise from the brain. Here you can see in the diagram, cranial nerves go from your brain to your eyes, mouth, ears, and other parts of the head. Because this cranial nerves, it is present in the brain, and the nearest part of the brain is eyes, nose, tongue, head, ears. So these nerves, they are distributed in the brain part, that is the your top part, that is the mouth, ear, head portions, right? Now this is central nerves that is arise, that are also in the brain and the spinal cord, right? In this we are talking about sensory nerves and motor nerves. So motor nerves are present in the spinal cord and sensory nerves are present in your sensory organ. Now, I have already discussed about your peripheral system and autonomic system. That autonomy means nerves go from your spinal cord to your lungs, heart, stomach, intestine, bladder, and sex organs. Because this is the involuntary that works automatically by itself. Now, when the urinary bladder is filled with the urine, the message goes to the brain, right? Through this central nerves. They give message to the brain, and brain gives order to the motor nerves that you have to remove the urine from your body. So this is how here, now these are the organs of central nervous system. These are the types of nerves. Clear? Right? These peripheral nerves, these are sensory nerves which are present in your arms, hands, legs, and feet. And these are the autonomic, that is these are the nerves that are present in your internal organs to carry the message. In our body there is a network of the nerves. We have lots of nerves and each nerve work efficiently. As I told you, we are multicellular organisms. Our each and every part will work independently, right? They have to be do the work, otherwise it will not be possible to survive. Now, how this control and coordination takes place? First, we should know what do you mean by stimuli. Stimuli means feelings, right? Which we respond. Suppose if you feel hot weather, then also you give response. You'll switch on the fans, you'll switch on the ACs, right? If you have cold weather, you'll put woolen cloths. If some sound is disturbing you, you will shout. You will feel that the sound is very much louder. The sound, if you are not able to hear, you will say sound is very low. And smell, You will come to know what is being cooking in your kitchen, right? And you say, if it is your favorite food, what you will say? My mouth water, मुंह में पानी आ गया. And after, and you know the taste also your tongue. So these are the response of your sensory organs: touch, pressure, gravity, water. So these are, we are responding to all these, right, changes. So that responding to the changes is called stimuli, right? We respond to stimuli in the form of our body movement. Suppose if I touch the hot object, immediately I will pull my hand back. So that is, we are responding. If we are our body is not responding, we will not be able to know if I touch the hot object, if I touch the cold object, right? So next is coordination. I already told you that the working together of various organs in an organism to produce a proper response to stimulus is called coordination. Now, this coordination, control and coordination, is done by our two systems, that is nervous system and endocrine system. Now, what is this endocrine system? This is the secretions of hormones. We are having some endocrine glands, right? We are having two types of glands. One is endocrine and another one is exocrine. Now, what is endocrine? Endocrine glands secretes hormones directly to the blood, whereas exocrine glands, they have duct. Endocrine glands are called ductless glands. They do not have any ducts, right? Exocrine glands, they have ducts. So endocrine glands, since they do not have ducts, this is the endocrine system. These endocrine glands, if they do not have ducts, they give hormones directly to the blood. Okay? They give hormones directly to the blood. Whereas exocrine system, they have ducts. So their hormones comes through the ducts. That is the difference. We don't have exocrine system in our syllabus, but we are talking about endocrine system, right? In plants, this control and coordination is done by chemical substance called plant hormones or phytohormones. Now, question is, note down the question, what is phytohormones? So, plant hormones are called phytohormones. They are the chemical messenger. We can say that these are the chemical messengers. And in our body, in animals, this control and coordination done by nervous system, endocrine system, that is all. Endocrine means hormones, right? So we have both electrical signals as well as chemical signals in our body, but in plants it's only chemical signals that I told you in my introduction. Now, when I'm talking about that control and coordination is done by nervous system and endocrine system. I told you nervous system consists of brain, spinal cord and nerves, right? Now we have some receptors in our body, right? So what are these receptors? They receives the message, that receives the stimuli, that means they receives the feelings and pass these feelings, pass this message to the brain or spinal cord through the sensory nerves. As I told you, the sensory nerves are present in our sense organs. Number one, skin. Our body is covered with skin. So it is not necessary that if you get picked by the pin or any sharp object only in the finger, then only you will come to know. If you get picked by any sharp edge object all through your body, you will come to know. If you are in your legs, in your foot, if you are by chance you kept your foot on the spines, definitely you will come to know. So we are receiving the feelings from all the organs of our body, right? So this message, it either has to reach to the brain. If it is slow message, then it will go to the brain. If it is to be activated fastly, and if it is your body part organ, then it goes to the spinal cord. That I'll take later on, right? What are those types of receptors? One, I am talking about photoreceptors, that in the eyes to detect light, right? Well, for example, I will take about photoreceptors. When you are sleeping in your dark room and suddenly your mother comes and she switch on the light, what will happen? You blink your eyes. Why? Because when you're sleeping in your dark room, your iris part, that is your pupil part, is open. Iris control the size of the pupil, and you are going to study in a physics chapter, that is human eyes and colorful world. So this pupil, what happens, it is open its part a large, that means iris opens the large portion of the pupil. But suddenly if your mother switch on the light, what will happen? You blink your eyes, you will adjust the size of the pupil, because if you're not going to do that, more and more light will focus in your eyes, the retina, it will focus on retina, and your retina may get damaged, right? So these are the photoreceptors. They are sensitive to light, they detect the light and they work accordingly, right? Phonoreceptors, that is to detect sound, right? So they control the amount of sound. Now when if you are hearing loud sound, your phonoreceptors will detect it, and you will next, what is your next step? You will reduce the volume. Now coming to the olfactory, this olfactory and gustatory, these two are mentioned in your book, but photo, phono and tango, these are not mentioned in your book. Olfactory, it is in the nose to detect the smell, then only you will say it is good or bad, right? Gustatory, in the tongue to detect the taste. So these receptors are present in your tongue. You will come to, by these receptors only they receive the message whether whatever you are eating is sweet, bitter or sour in taste. Now tango receptors, they are present in the skin to detect the touch. If someone touch you, you will come to know. If you touch the hot object, you will come to know. So these tango receptors, they carry the message to whom? To nerves, and these nerves carry the message to the brain and spinal cord. Now, what are the effectors? Effectors are the muscles and glands. When you touch any hot object, naturally you pull your hands away. That means your muscles and glands, right? Your muscles contract, right? When your muscles contract, then only you are able to move your hand. So, these are the effectors. This I'll take when I'll talking about neuron. Now, sensory nerves, I already discussed. They take the message from receptors, that is sense organs, to the brain and spinal cord. Motor nerves, they carry information from the brain and spinal cord to the effectors, that is muscles and glands. So, this is your receptors introduction. This is all the introduction of the various parts which I am going to take right now in my lecture. Now, first I am talking about neuron. You have already heard about neuron. You know the diagram of neuron. You have already drawn. You know the functions of neuron. But now I am going to study in little bit detail. So, this is a neuron diagram. What does neuron consist of? First, you know the structure of neuron. Now, these neuron, it consists of cytone. Cytone means cell body. You can tell cytone. Cytone means cell body, which contains nucleus as well as cytoplasm. This blue dot-like structure, this is called cytoplasm. So, cytone means cell body and cytoplasm, right? So, and cytone is the word used for cell body which contains nucleus as well as cytoplasm. Clear? Now, you can see the branch-like structures. These branch-like structures, they are dendrites. They are very fine. They are very active. They are present in your body. These dendrites receives the message. कुछ हाथ में चुपते ही हम एकदम हाथ पीछे कर लेते हैं. So see that this how dendrites works fast. Now the message through neuron goes in the form of electrical signals, which I have discussed earlier, right? Then after that, right, it has long nerve fiber that is called axon. This blue color axon, it is running all through this Schwann cells, myelin sheath. So you are not able to this tubular structure. It is inside this, right? You can see it is coming out here. So this is long nerve fiber called axon. It is covered by this protective tissue called mycelium sheath. Right? Now, you can see this synapse I will take in my next diagram. Now, so what does this neuron consist of? It consists of cell body, which has nucleus as well as cytoplasm, dendrites, and long tubular structures called axon, which have axon terminus, that is called nerve endings. These are nerve endings. They play a very important role in sending the message from one neuron to another. Right? Now, what happens, how it works? First, you know how this message travel from one neuron to another. See this. This is the one neuron and this is the nerve ending of this first neuron. Now, these nerve ending are in connected with second neuron dendrites. Now, the gap between two neurons, clear? The gap between nerve ending of first neuron and dendrites of second neuron, that is called synapse. Right? So message travel from one neuron to another through this gap called synapse. Now how it travel? Through one message from one part to another. So first we should know how the message is received by this neuron. So whenever we we get picked with the pin or any sharp object, right? जब कोई चीज हमारे चुभती है, तो what happens? These dendrites, somewhere here. These dendrites, they receive the message in the form of chemicals, right? From the sense organs. These dendrites, they receive the message from the sense organs in the form of chemical. But as soon as it receives the message, it converts into electrical signals. Why? Because electrical signals travel faster than chemical signals. If this message is not converted into electrical signals, what happens? If you have touched any hot object, you won't leave that object and your hand will burn completely. So this message to be reached to your effectors quickly. So how much it travel, I'll tell you. Now these dendrites, they receive the information and starts a chemical reaction which produce electrical impulse and pass through the axon. So dendrites, after receiving the message in the form of chemicals, converting into electrical, and this electrical message go through this axon to nerve ending. Right? When the message come to the nerve ending, again it convert into chemical signals, and the dendrite of other neuron through receptors. This nerve ending, they have receptors, right? There are the receptors between nerve ending of first and nerve ending of dendrites of second, right? These are the dendrites of second and these are the nerve ending of first. So between the nerve ending and dendrite of the second, there is some gap, and this gap has some receptors. So this message pass to the dendrite of another receptors in the form of chemicals. Clear? So this dendrite receives the message, again the process starts till it reaches to your spinal cord, because the spinal cord message take the message and give the order to the effectors. Effectors means your bones of your hands, muscles of your hands, glands of your hands, and they have to be contract, right? Unless or until they contract, you can't remove your hand. So they have to be contract, and your effectors will work simultaneously, and like this message will go, right? So your this is your effectors, and your muscles will be affected, and you remove your hand. So with this, today I complete my topic, that is about reflex action. In next class, I am going to take about reflex arc right? Again, I will take this topic, neuron, working of neuron, what is reflex action and what is reflex arc. So go through this video properly. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me my next class. Goodbye.